Today, we're going to show you how to make this, a delicious, succulent Portuguese-style charcoal chicken. Let's get started. Now, to make our Portuguese-style chicken, we are going to need a couple of things. Obviously, a chook. I'd recommend just going with a whole roast-style chicken, and I'll show you how to butterfly that up in just a minute. We're going to also want some brown sugar, garlic, smoked sweet paprika, oregano, olive oil, black crushed pepper, and of course a little bit of salt. In the way of, equipment, you can use kitchen shears if you have them, very useful for butterflying chicken. If you don't have one of these, then just a big old sharp knife will do the trick as well. And then also useful to have like a garlic crusher, but not necessary, you can always crush it with the flat of a knife. And some measuring cups and measuring spoons. Oh, I did also forget, we are gonna want 1/3 of a cup of lemon juice. So let's start there, shall we? Just slice them in half and squeeze them out until you get 1/3 of a cup. Also useful, not necessary, but I prefer to strain out my lemon juice after I've crushed it like this, just so I'm not getting all the seeds and chunky bits going into the rest of our marinade. Rinse and repeat till you have your 1/3 cup. Next up, garlic. Now, I don't know if you're like me, but whenever a recipe tells me 1 clove, 2 cloves, that is absolute nonsense. I love garlic and I don't care that it may throw things out of balance. I want to taste the garlic. So I recommend going 1/2 of a garlic. In this case for me, it is going to be 7 cloves. Just strip them, crush them, and throw them into the mix. Now for the easy stuff, 1 tablespoon of brown sugar, 2 tablespoons of oregano, and where we're gonna get our smoky flavor and our red color from, 2 tablespoons of paprika. Oops. And of course, obviously with all things like these good recipes, you can adjust as you see fit. So if it's got a little bit too much kick for you, dial it back. If you want a little bit more spice in the back of your throat, bump up that paprika a bit. Now, we can do our 1/2 tablespoon each of cracked black pepper and salt. I honestly don't really measure this one, just go by gut feel. Now, let's mix it all together with 1/3 of a cup of olive oil. Now, it's worth noting that I am making enough marinade here for 2 chooks. You could just go ahead and make this for 1 and just have plenty of marinade to go around, or throw that second chook in and make sure that everybody is well and truly fed. Entirely up to you. After you've got everything together, just give it a good old mix up and then adjust to taste. So if you want this to have a bit more black pepper kick or a little bit more sweetness, a little bit more salt, then you can adjust that brown sugar, salt, black pepper, paprika, etc. as you need. It's also worth noting that whilst I prepare this, I am currently drinking our white coffee and coconut stout. So this is a really weird style of beer that looks like a pale ale, but absolutely drinks like a big, thick, delicious coffee stout. If you want to know how to make this one, check that link right up there, where we can show you how to make a really interesting but really great brew. Cheers. Now, it's time to talk about butterflying our chook. Oh, that smells so good. You can just see that beautiful red color coming from that paprika. Oh, and that brown sugar, by the way, is not just for the flavor. That is also going to help give us a level of caramelization on our chook as we start charcoal grilling it, to really help with that melanoidin effect, which is basically where you have that crystallization and that biochemical change of sugars when it starts caramelizing on the surface of things. So that's going to help give us that beautiful golden looking color on the chook and that extra crunch and flavor. Now, let's talk about butterflying. Now, it is worth giving your chicken a quick pat down just to help dry out that skin a little bit, make it a little bit easier to handle, and to also help with the marinade taking a bit of a hold on it. You could also just give it a pat down after if you're not concerned. Now, here's our chook. We are going to flip it upside down so that we have it on its back. Then if we turn it around, we can see we've got the butt here. So we've got the spine along this section here, and this is where we're going to want to cut from. So on either side of its butt, its tailbone there, we're going to snip up along the chicken so that we not only butterfly it, but we also remove the spine as well. Made a little bit of a mess of that, but we've got our spine taken out and separated. Now we can flip our chook over and give it a bit of a squash down, breaking that wishbone. There we go. And there we have it. A butterfly chook. Now that our marinade is done and our chicken is butterflied, we can combine the two together. Now, if you have the foresight, it is well worth doing this a day before so that you can let your chicken marinate overnight, really help it to adopt those flavors and bring on that profile. But if you're in a pinch, try and do it like 2 hours in advance, let it sit for at least a little bit so that you can get that flavor adoption. Now, you could use a brush to paint your chicken and be all elegant, but honestly, I'm a fan of just dunking the whole thing in because why not? Like, it's gonna get your hands messy anyway, may as well just get stuck in there, throw your whole chook in, and marinate up well and proper. So use your hands to give it a good spread around. Make sure you cover all the surface of the chicken. Do try to be delicate with it if you can. You don't want to rip the skin or rip your chicken apart. Yeah, just make sure you get that marinade in everywhere. All right, now that our marinade is done, whoops, I'm flicking marinade everywhere. We're gonna glad wrap this thing over, pop it in the fridge overnight, and then we'll come back tomorrow to get our charcoal on. We'll see you then. It is now 24 hours later and we are ready to cook our chook. Now there's two ways you can get your charcoal going. You could go old school and use a charcoal chimney like this one here, which I did do for the first part of my charcoal. But if you're feeling a little bit lazy or if you're racing the sun like we are right now to get this video for you, you can use one of these things. It's like basically a hairdryer. The love child between a hairdryer and a lightsaber. That's effectively what this thing does, and it absolutely gets that charcoal cooking. Woo boy! So, once you got your charcoal nice and hot, then we can talk about how we're gonna start cooking our chook. But before we can actually throw our chook onto the coals, we need to stick in our probes. We need to probe our chicken. You could do this by like touch and feel and old wives measurements and everything, but honestly when you're dealing with poultry, the safest thing to do is to make sure that you're cooking it appropriately so you're not going to make you and everyone else you're cooking for sick. So for that you need temperature probes. I am using an Inkbird here, bit of a fancy piece of equipment. It's wireless, it's convenient, it connects to my phone, but you could just use any barbecue probe for this step here, and we're going to stick them straight through the breast of the chook because that's the thickest part of the chicken, up to the hilt. There we go. Now, when that hits 74 degrees Celsius, that's our target temp, we'll know that our chicken is cooked and ready and safe to eat. Now, let's throw this onto some coals. Now, because we don't have a rotisserie, which is ideal for Portuguese style chicken, we're going to be doing it on a flip method. But because we don't have the rotisserie consistently rotating that chook over the coals, we want to sear our chicken first and then lower the heat so that we can cook it for longer. But we want to sear it at the start to create that crust layer and trap all the juices inside. About to grab the chicken with the heat gloves. That's not going to be too food safe. So let's throw our chook on our coals now. We're going to leave this here for a couple of minutes until it starts to build up a nice crust layer. Then we're going to flip it over, do the same on the other side. After that, we're going to lower our coal bed down to the lowest it can go so that we can cook this thing nice and slow, or as slow as possible. If you don't have the ability to move your coal bed layer, then have your coals shuffled to one side so that you can put it directly on heat, and then you can move your chicken further away from the coals to cook it lower and slower. Right now, we're just going to do the searing, so we're going to do it with the lid off, but once we start getting into the main cook, we're going to close this thing up, and then we're going to be aiming for around 200, 220 degrees Celsius. So, we'll come back in a minute when it's ready to flip. And because we're greedy, we're doing a second chook today. We're hungry. Look at all them chickens. She's spitting bars.
Spit a bar right now, man.
Cooking my chicken, and we're gonna get wicked when we're eating the ale, going all pale. That makes no sense. You've asked a white boy to try and rap on the fly. I'm sorry, but I don't get that high. All right, now let's go for a flip. Oh yeah. Now, probably left it a touch late, but I don't mind a little bit of charcoal on my chook. Now, after we've seared this other side for about a minute or two, we're gonna drop this charcoal bed way down and cook this thing as slow as we can. All right, now we've got a nice bronzing going on our pretty side, I guess you could call it. I would ordinarily keep this on the grills down here, but these coals are a touch hotter than I'd like. So I'm gonna throw them up on my, my top grill here, so it's gonna create a little bit more distance between the chook and the charcoal. And now we're gonna close up our barbecue. So now we're gonna cook this, hoping to keep the heat around 170 to 230 C. If I can keep it bang on 200, I'll be happy. That's kind of the Goldilocks sweet spot where we can get a decent cook time and decent flavor without completely burning and drying out our chicken. So we can see here we're sitting at about 200, which is awesome. If you close up your vents as well, if you do have an offset smoker, then you can also help that smoke character build, and that's gonna blend into the bird while it cooks. Now, we'll come back to you when we're ready to flip it right before we finish it up. Now, our first chook is sitting at about 60 degrees Celsius internal temperature. So I am now going to flip it and try to be gentle as I do so. Nice, to get some bronzing on the underside of our chook. This chook over here is about 10 degrees off from this one because we threw it on slightly later. So now let's close her up again. And I would say we've got about 10 to 15 minutes left to go on chook number 1 until it hits target temperature of 74 degrees. We have now hit our target temperature for chook number 1. So it is time to pull our bird. And I really should have gotten my gloves on earlier. Up we go. Oh yeah, she's looking juicy. And let's give it a little flip. Oh, that's a delicious looking chicken. Let's take it inside and dig in. And our last chook of the night is done. Oh, just listen to that sizzle. Oh, beautiful. Let's take her off. Give it a flip. Oh, that's a good looking bird if I don't say so myself. Look at that beautiful bronzing and color. Let's get this one inside for seconds. And here she is. Now, I'm gonna be enjoying this bird with our hazy pale ale. If you wanna learn how to make this beautiful drop right here, there's a link right on up there. It's a super easy, super fruity, delicious style of pale ale. But let's get into eating this. I'm gonna take out our temperature probes now so we don't break our teeth on it. What part of the chook do we wanna eat? Let's go the drumstick. I'm a sucker for a drumstick. Look at that juice. And that crust layer is just awesome. Let's go in for a bite and burn my mouth. That's bloody good. That's really bloody good. But I think the actual best way to enjoy something like this would be on a sourdough focaccia sandwich. Or you could just whack it on a good old burger. So here we've got our ranch, we've got our tomato, our cheese slices. Of course, we've got our succulent chicken breast in there and some sweet potato fries with a delicious beer. Now, while I enjoy our chicken, I need to say a massive thank you to our Patreons. Thank you, Patreons, for being the guys that support our channel day in, day out and giving us that bit of extra motivation and of course the financial support that makes all of this so worth it. So good, just check that out. Oh my God. And stick around with us next week because we're gonna show you how to make 2 different versions of alcoholic lemonade. So, we'll catch you then.